Hello, hello, hello. What happened to my sound? Hello, hello. Welcome to another EZ3DTV tutorial today. I am Rex Red. We are live in 4K. Today we are going to talk about how some new features that have been added to EZFinder just last night, okay? Some really cool new features. Quite a few, actually. Some fixes, things that needed to be repaired before it goes out. Well, you know, it could have gone out without them fixed because they were not, like, critical, but the new features are, like, really exciting. So if you hang around, you will get to see what's new. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the plans that I have for other programs, okay, that we're going to be working with. So this is how this works. So, all right, now I'm going to show you a new thing, okay? This is EZFinder here, and what we're going to do is, this is right here. This is EZShader, okay? And what does it do? Well, shaders, a lot of people think about shaders. Now I have to go over here. So the stream quality, okay, now what we have here, a lot of people think of shaders of like dividing off shaders in terms of like wood shaders and metal shaders and glass shaders and rock shaders and food shaders and things that sci-fi shaders. So they think along the lines of dividing shaders along those lines. But welcome. So, the way I think of dividing off shaders, I think of them in that terms, like I like to have shaders divided off like wood shaders and glass shaders and metal shaders. I like having them divided like that so I can say I need a wood shader or I need a metal shader. But I also have found that it is helpful to be able to divide off shaders by what images they contain within them. So if does a shader have a normal map? Well, if it has a normal map, then I want a folder full of shaders that have normal maps. If a shader has, and this is what EZISO has done, is it makes you think about shaders in a different way, okay? So that, does a shader have a normal map? Does it have a displacement map? Does it have a bump map, okay? And so if you're looking for a bump map, you don't want to go through 20 shaders looking for a bump map, and then you finally find one and it's just like not what you want. You want to be able to say, here's a folder full of shaders, and click on the shader and say, oh, this has a bump map. Click on the next one. This is a nice bump map. Click on the next one. This is a nice bump map. So you're not going through, because you could literally go through 100 shaders before you find one with a bump map, and I am not exaggerating, because, or a normal map, because in your shader list there are things called procedural shaders, which can be just like changing the color of a certain, like of the base color. And so you have like 50 procedural shaders that just change the color of the base map, okay? So you can end up with like all of these kind of junk shaders mixed in with your other shaders, and you need to find a bump map or a normal map, or you would like to find or see your image based, make sure that your shaders are image based rather than procedural, okay? Because then you can just have a folder and say all of these shaders in this folder have images. They do not have, they are not procedural. And procedural is like an algorithm. It's like a script that makes that changes a certain part of a shader, okay? They do not necessarily have images. Some of them do, but some of them just simply have a they're going to change the color of something, or they're going to make the exposure brighter, or the emissive brighter kind of thing. And so they don't really have an image. So there are tons of them all mixed in with your shaders. So this is what EZShader does, okay? It scans all your shaders. This is part of EZFinder now, okay? As of last night, it got finally added in. And so what it does is you start your compartment, scan your compartments. I'll show you how long it takes to scan the compartments. So we're going to clear the cache, and that gets rid of everything, okay? And you only have to do this when you get new shaders, okay? When you buy new shaders and you put them in, you have to scan the compartment. So we're going to click scan, and now it's scanning. It's already done 100 there's 399 files. Some of the files don't have shaders at all, so it'll breeze right through them. Some of them have thousands of them, okay? So you have to wait until this scan is done, all right? And I just wanted to show you that it's quite fast, all right? So where it's scanning, I think 79,000 shaders. I think it's somewhere in around that, 50,000 maybe. And so it's already at 330, and it's got to go to 399, 340. Now it's hit the section where there's a lot of shaders. So it's found 4,000 shaders so far, but this is going to just jump up by many thousands, okay? Because it's right in the area where all of the shaders are. So we're at 4,870 shaders found. The next chunk will be probably like 15,000, and then it'll probably go up to, I think it's around 50 or 70, I can't remember. But it's a lot, 70,000 shaders, okay? So, I mean, it's a lot. It hasn't finished scanning, but the next chunk it throws at us, and it gives you a progress bar here to let you know how much is left to scan. And so while we wait for this, these up here filter those shaders, okay? So they look in the shader files that we're scanning, and it says, okay, these shaders have normal maps. These shaders have displaced maps. These shaders have bump maps. These shaders are procedural. These shaders have images. So it could have any, but it would also have your base map image also. This shader has opacity maps. There's not very many of them. And then these shaders are emissive. They give off light. Okay, so, and there aren't that many of those as well. Okay, so, but what you want, once this scan is done, you don't have to scan it again until you buy new shaders and you want to add them into your shader folders. Okay, so this is pretty cool how this works. And once again, it gives you information about your shaders. It tells you things that you wouldn't know about them. Now it just went up to 29,000 shaders, okay? So, and it's only at 370, we got 399, so I believe it's, yeah, we're gonna see another, this probably double at least in shader content. So once this is done, and I usually don't run scans during a live, during a live video, but this is really kind of happening quick. It happens within maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It scans 70,000 shaders or whatever. It actually scans over 1 million files, but it's only, or it's at least 700,000 files that it scans in minutes, okay? This is how EZFinder works. If it doesn't scan that quick, I go back to the drawing board and say, how can I make this faster? How can this get faster? So that it only scans what it needs. And it doesn't miss things, but it gets, and so it gets everything, but it only scans what it needs. This is the art of scanning, okay? Of getting things, of curating your art, okay? So that is what this is about. And so then each time, so then once you have this file, it creates a file. And once you have this file, and every time you click, you clear the cache, and you scan again, it scans all of your compartments. Now when you buy new shaders, then you have to append this scan up here, and scan again, and it adds the shaders to your compartments. Once the new shaders are here, then you rescan this, and there may actually be an append added to this, so that it only scans, and it only scans files that are new. But that's not here yet, okay? All right, but it's not really like, it's just, 3 minutes. You could go in and fix yourself a cup of tea and come back out and it's done. So, so this is how this works. Now we're up to 52 and there's still quite a bit left. I think it does go up to 70,000 shaders. So we're at least at 52,000 shaders, okay, that it has found, and it's 380 and it's got to go up to 399. So it's almost got 20 more to go. And 20 more of these compartments that it is scanning, okay? There are 399 compartments here. And so if you click on these and it opens, you see that there are compartments within side of these down in here. And so it scans these compartments. And I probably shouldn't have done that in the middle of the scan. But yeah, okay, so, but it's probably still going to work. Because it's not scanning these compartments, it's scanning the compartments on the disk. These are those compartments, but these are looking at those compartments in its own way, and this right here is looking at those compartments in its own way. So the ones on the disk are kind of like the truth. And so this looks at the truth, and this looks at the truth. So they have their own, and that is what happened because I made it part of EZDesigner, and it turned out to be a nightmare scenario because EZDesigner was trying to look at these compartments and for itself, and then this was trying to look at these compartments for itself, and they were conflicting because this was saying, do I look at these or do I look at what you have for compartments? It was a nightmare. And so all of a sudden I decided, oh, there it is. It's time. Okay, so there's 77,000 shaders. I knew there was 70,000. So, all right. So what we have here now, if I click on normal, all right, it finds 7,000 shaders with normal maps. If I click displace, it finds 14,000, double the amount of shaders. You see, it shows you them, and a lot of them are the same, but with EZFinder, redundancy in folders doesn't matter. If you want to have a copy of this here and a copy of that there and have it in all these different folders, it doesn't matter because they are teensy, teensy, tiny files, okay? And so it doesn't matter. You're not copying the whole product and putting it in, and in redundant locations. They are teeny tiny. So what you're looking at here are tiny little, teensy tiny little files. Okay, they're pointers to the products in your library. So now image-based, there's 45,000 shaders with images. Okay, that's all it says is they have image. This image-based would contain the bump ones and the displace and normals. So because it may have your base image and a normal map. It might have your base image and a displace map. It might have your base image and a bump map, or it could have your base image plus a bump and displace and normal all in one image. But these tell you for sure that they have normals, okay? This is a grab bag. You don't know if it has normals or not, okay? And if you're looking for a normal map that you want, and I'm going to show you why it's important. Until EZFinder, it really wasn't that important finding a normal map, okay? There was, yes, some people actually play around with normal maps and like to do stuff with them, but most people just put the texture on their figure or on the shader on an object, and they're all done with it. They've got what they need. But with this, you get to play around and create your own shaders, and so all of a sudden you say, I want as many normal maps as I can get. I want as many bump maps as I can get. And all of a sudden, you start collecting normal maps. You start collecting bump maps. Because they are fun to have, okay? And I'm going to show you why. So what happens is now that I have this normal where I can select normal and it looks through what we just scanned, that file that we just scanned, and it finds 7,000 shaders, 7,948 shaders with normal maps, okay? So I'm going to inject these, okay? And now these are injected into this program. All right, so what we do now is we go to our EZOrganizer. And as you can see, I have already created a folder with normal maps. And okay, that has got to go away. We have some kind of gaming thing to off. Okay, so now we come back here. All right, so we have displace, shader, normal. Let's also add our new here, and let's add our base. Okay, we're going to add base shader, S-H-A-D-R. That's how I spell it, so it says short. Okay, and now we'll go back here to this, and we'll take our image based, okay, and we're going to clear the UI first. Yep, clear that. Now come back here again, and let's inject our image-based shaders. Now these will have all of the other ones in it also, okay, but that's the thing is now it allows us to look and say, I need a more normal map. I don't want to select. See, this has 45,000 items in it. This only has 7,000, and all 7,000 have a normal map associated with each one. Okay, this one has 14,000, each one of those. So I don't have to go through 45,000 items looking for out of when only 7,000 of them have normal maps. See how important this is? Okay, So now we go and we clear this out, and we'll do one more. Okay, this one is going to be progressive, new. Just to show you PRO, not progressive, it's procedural. Shader, SHADR, we'll go proceed shader, okay? And let's change the color to yellow, like that, all right? And, all right, these are good. Display shader, we'll change this color to red, red. And there we go. All right, I have the hiccups again. So now we go here, and we go to procedural, and there are 31,000 procedural shaders, okay? Now, so we're going to inject these here, 31,000, okay? We hold the control key, and we drag them over to our procedural shader. All right, 31,000. Now, if you mix the base shaders, which is 45,000, okay, with the procedural shaders that have no images, okay, then you're talking about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 shaders. When you are out of those 70,000 shaders, you're looking for only 7,000, 8,000 that have normal maps. You see, so literally you could be going through hundreds of shaders until you find one with a normal map. So do you see now how important it is that we can, oh, and we have one more, okay? We have bump, okay? So new folder, bump, shader, all right? So bump shader, and we're going to change the color to, let's see, purple, not purple. Let's go to this pinkish color, okay? And we'll go there. All right, bump shader. And so we go back, we clear this. We go back to our thing here, and we click bump. All right, then we inject them into our main, okay? Then we go here, and we go bump. And you see, there are only 2,383 items with bump maps. So finding a shader with a bump map out of 70,000 items, okay, is hard, okay? Not anymore, because all you have to do is come here and say, here are all of these shaders here in these 53 pages have normal maps, all of them, okay? And that's the way the program's supposed to work. Hopefully it works this way. All of these 14,000, when I inject them in, have displacement maps, okay? All of these shaders here, when I inject them in, are procedural shaders. They have no maps. So it takes those procedural shaders out of your search, okay? It takes the noise out of your search so that you can find. And then these shaders are like everything, because there might be shaders. It'd be really kind of nice to have something that's just base image only. So just to be able to say these only have base images. Why? It's just, again, to be able to say, I'm just looking for a base image. But the thing is, probably every single shader here in this 45,000 has a base image. Okay, so that's the thing. So what do we do with these items? Okay, well, this is the fun part here. Okay, so we open EZShader. Okay, and this is the fun. This is really a very fun program. Okay, so we're going to put both of these over here. Okay, and now we're going to add some slots. All right, we got a bunch of slots. I put even some more slots over here, and we slide over to use these slots. So what we do is we have our main texture map. Okay, this is the slot 1 is actually our what we're looking at here is we have our base color. So we select our base color, and then we go through here and we just drag these in, okay? See now, look. See now, this one has I'm not sure what that is exactly. It might be a displace. It could probably, but this one is definitely we don't want that here, okay. This one is definitely a normal map. So we can put this, see? This appears as our base color, okay? Glossy color. So let's add a bunch of these in. All right. And now let's just go through these. These, I think, this was displace. So we just go through these and find things that have maps that are interesting. Okay. And there is a new issue, okay? Because this EZ ISO was kind of broken. It had a flaw in it that I didn't know about. And what would happen is I would drag shaders into here, and it would say, oh, this is a progressive shader because it doesn't have images. And it was looking in the wrong place because there are two types of Daz shaders. I guess over the years, they developed a different shader model, and it puts the images in a different place. And so it was looking in the wrong place for the images. And so what is this? This looks kind of cool. See, that's just an image, touchable hair, but we'll use that. We can use that. See, this just has an image, all right? But we can add this to maybe this SS color, SSS, all right? And, all right, so, but what we're going to do is fill this up first. And so what it was doing was spitting out about half of the textures were not working. And I thought these were procedural, I keep getting that word wrong. I am never going to remember this word. Yeah, procedural shaders. I guess I did remember it. I thought they were procedural shaders, and it turned out that they were. Okay, let's go to page 300. Oh, 200. Okay, well, that would help. Okay, let's go to page 100. So I thought these shaders, now look, see, some of these are really cool. Frosted, what's this? See, now this one is pretty cool. It's, so we have these really cool spirals here. And now let's see what else we have here. These definitely have diffuse maps, okay? Now let's go with, now these ones I'll bet you are going to have normal maps. Yep, see, so we have some cool stuff here. We can add a kind of brick look. What are these? See, that has just one color, but that one color is amazing, okay? So this is what we're talking about. So what we do is we just create these slots first, and we put interesting shaders into these slots that we kind of like. And I think I'd rather go with something like this brick one. Okay, that one looks just a little bit kind of more funky. And then we go here. We keep just going through. And we know that these kind of work. So this one is nice. Look at that. We got these marble. Look at that. That's a nice bump map. That's a nice bump. A nice roughness. Okay, so this is roughness. All right, so, and that's a 1K one. 2K. So, and so all of our shaders are here. All of your shaders are in these folders, but they're now kind of divided into something. So you're not dragging them in and dropping them and saying, oh, there's no normal there. There's no displacement. There's no images at all in this. So you're not having that experience, okay? Which is not fun, okay? Because I've been through there. That's why I created that, was to prevent that kind of negative experience, okay? So when I drop this in, there are images here, okay? And these have displacement. You've got your normal maps. You've got your base maps. And you've got these other kind of roughness, okay? So that is what is cool. Now these ones should also have, okay, these ones only, see, we're talking displacement, only have this displacement pattern. The rest are just sliders, like color sliders, okay, that change the color of these parts. So that is cool. We could use that. All right, so we'll see. Now that's displacement. Okay, so this gives us a little bit of a palette, all right, of things. Maybe not the most, but these kind of look pretty cool. So what we're going to do is where's our displacement? This says displacement strength. Let's put that there. Okay. Let's go to bump strength, and we'll use this one. All right. Let's go to, oh, that's normal. We don't want a normal map. We'll use this for bump strength. Okay. And then our normal map, we'll use this. Okay, bump strength was this. All right. Translucency color. Now I'm not sure what to do with these, but let's put that in. All right. Glossy roughness. Let's put this here. Roughness. Okay. And then glossy color. We shall use this. Okay, so we have our, okay, so what we can do now is save the slots. We save the layout. Yep. Okay, it saves that in the layout. We can now save our layout here. Okay, ultimate layout. And now what we can do is open up Daz Studio. I'm going to put this here. And we create a surface, which will be a sphere, except, and what I like is now I have this convert to sub D, which is just a little button to click now instead of having to look for it. And you have to watch the last video to see how that works. And then what we're going to do is make sure that in our surfaces here, we have this sphere selected. Now, what it's going to do is inject all of these images onto here, okay? And this is Daz Studio 4.24, so it's ready. Here we go. Apply. Go. And here we go. And translucency. Now, you can see they're here. but some of this stuff isn't quite right. Let's see now. Our bumps, our base. Where's our glossy roughness? Okay, see, we can now adjust these. Glossy color. And now we have, there's what we're looking for, the base bumps. That didn't work. All right, that didn't do anything. Normal maps. Okay. So if they've got it, the maps are here. They should be working. Glossy roughness. Base bump. All right, let's try some different bump strength. Okay, let's displacement strength. None of these seems, okay, displacement. None of these seem to be working, which is kind of odd. Translucency color, let's, no, that, and the glossy color, we bring that down a little bit. That just brought it down a little bit, okay. Base color, diffuse roughness, okay, diffuse overlay, and okay, we're gonna see, this isn't working at all. Okay, now maybe, okay, no, that can't be it. Surfaces, we're in surfaces. Something is not right here. Okay, so let's play around with this. Let's do some different things. So we'll go and minimize this, and what is it that we've got wrong here? Emission color, they all went in, so this is see, I know how to make this program, but actually, like, working with shaders themselves is something that really requires a lot of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this base color here. All right, let's take our normal map and let's change it to this. Okay, and the bump strength, let's go with this. Let's go here, and let's go to our bump shaders, okay? And these shaders have bump maps. Okay. Let's take this one here. I think I just replaced my shader in here. Yeah, it did something cool to it though. But that's not what we wanted to do, Z. All right, so what we do is now we open up, not that, this, okay, and we drag, let's drag some different shaders in. Okay, this is on glossy. What was that, glossy? Did we put that on glossy? Glossy color. We're going to select this and put this on glossy. All right. And then we go here. And let's take this. All right, we already switched, so we already have a bump map. I mean, there's that, so now we go here. Okay, this, is a bump map. Okay, those are grout. Okay, these. Okay, these do have bump maps. See that? This is a bump map here. So we're going to add that to the bump strength. Okay, which would be here. All right, now let's see what happens when we inject this displacement strength. We're looking for something displacement. Okay, let's go to page 24. All right, let's take and find a 4K one. Here's one here. All right, and we open this here. And which one doesn't have anything selected? We're going to take this one out, and we're going to go and bring this over here. All right, and this has, this is the displacement map. Okay, so we want to add that to displacement. All right, which is, it's a bump strength. Okay, we lost our bump, so let's go back here. This is our displacement map here. All right, now the bump, we used the bump here. Which one was the bump? This is it. All right, so now let's save this. Okay, now inject to Daz. We'll make sure we have this selected. Yeah, we do. Now let's reset the shader. Okay. Now that's reset back to its original shader. Okay. And we come here and here. And we inject to Daz. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, and I didn't change that color. Glossy color. Okay, see, it's putting them in. Now, see, what I'm not liking is this base image. Something about this base image isn't working. Where is it? Here. It's just, it's not even 4K or anything. It's just really, so let's change that to something else. Where's our base image? These right here. Okay. Okay, now the base image is here. This is what we got to change. So we select that, and let's use this as a base image. And our translucency color, we'll use this. All right, base image. Try this again. Now we'll save this. All right, reset. Yes. This one. Now inject. go. Oh, I know what's wrong. We are not in iRay. Hello? Okay, here it is. They all work. They just don't show in iRay, okay? My bad. Okay, so look at this now. Look at how cool this is. Probably that other one was cool too. But now we have some more normal maps. Okay, we can decide how much this base bump. Okay, look at this. Gives it that honeycomb kind of look. That's our honeycomb texture. Roughness. See, all of these work now. Is that cool or what? And this basically works with any texture. Translucency color. Translucency weight. Matt, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Matt Martz is here. Dear friend, welcome, welcome. We got our base color. We can bring our base color and make it a little brighter. So this is our, you want to watch the beginning of this? It could be, yes, this could be, you can take some of the metallicity out of it if you want. That would be maybe in this glossy roughness. We bring some more roughness into it and make it look a little bit less rough. And then you also can take and come in here and welcome Leo. We have Leo de Grants. Welcome, dear friend. Very nice to have you here. So I'll rewind. Yes, check the beginning part because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Displacement strength, okay? So I'm not sure exactly how displacement works, but you got that one going on too here. So giving us an extra. Now this looks like it's a little bit kind of grainy. So what we can do is just take this. This would be in here, horizontal offset. We just take this offset a little bit and bring it to 1. Horizontal offset, no, tiles, escape. We go to tiles, horizontal tiles, 2, and horizontal tiles and vertical tiles, 2. And suddenly it has just a little bit less of that kind of graininess look to it. But this right here is all of these. That is not all of these. It's the ones that are checked. And so you can basically take your shader collection and you can just drag things in here. Now that we know that we have to have it, of course it's not going to show that stuff. Now let's take this map. Let's just kind of mess with some of these maps. We take this one and we'll use this map on here, the hair one, okay? The SS map, we'll use this. And we'll take this glossy color and we'll use, let's see. Let's use this, okay, for glossy. And I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's the thing is you don't really have to know what you're doing to use this stuff. It's just glossy roughness. Let's go with this one. All right. And translucency color. Let's go with our this. And let's see how that works here. So we've got that, this, and opacity, strength. Now these, I believe, work. Okay, so the opacity, those ones were really hard getting work. Not everything works here. These sliders don't really do anything. That's what going to be for EZFinder too. But the thing is why would you want to use these sliders here? You want to use the sliders in Daz where you can actually see what's happening, okay? So that is, so the sliders don't really, just leave them kind of the way they are. And so now this one, the honeycomb, I'm not too thrilled with. So this is, I think we had that on, yeah, this bump string. Let's use this one here for bump. Okay, no, we want bump. We'll use this displacement map and see what happens with the displacement map. Art, welcome, welcome. Yes, welcome. It is lovely to have you. I hope you are having an awesome day, people. Welcome. So so just to recap what's happened, okay? I have created a new feature in EZFinder, okay? It's a new user interface. It's right here. It's called EZShader, okay? When you open this up, you scan. It takes about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes to scan. Once it's done scanning, then you can click normal, and it searches all your shaders for shaders that have normal maps. You click displace, and it searches all your shaders, and then you can inject these into the main UI and put them in folders so you don't have to go through 70,000 files looking for 7,000 files that have shaders. Black letter day above ground. I'm not sure what that means, but I hope it's good. So bump map. So if you need shaders that have bump, not like only about 8,000 of my shaders have bump maps, and I have 70,000 shaders. So that's a lot of shaders I would have to look through to find a bump map. All of these shaders here have bump maps. Okay. See, so then it allows you to inject them, okay, into here. All right. Now all of these shaders, even these ones, should have a bump map. So let's see. Let's add another. We can add as many slots as we want. All right, to this, and so we can use this as a repository for creating. Let's see. All right, these. See that? It has a bump map. It's not the most perfect bump map, but this kind of gives us some, this looks like some pretty cool shader stuff, okay? So this one here, this glitter gift box, okay, has a bump map, okay? It says, so this roughness is a bump map. And so I'm not sure exactly how perfectly this works, but it gets you pretty close to what you need. So now we can take and go back into here. What a mess this is. We can go here, bring this over here, and we just drag this so it's not so large. And then we scroll over, okay? So then we bring this out, this, and now this displacement, okay? Let's use something cooler than that. There's that. Let's go with, select this displacement, and we'll use, let's try this and see what happens, okay? I don't know what's going to happen. So then let's just save it, all right? So we click save. So, and then we reset. We want to reset our Daz shader, okay? Back to factory here. And then we reopen this here. This one. Nope, this one. Okay, and now we inject to Daz. We can minimize that. Inject to Daz. And here we go. And look at that. Pretty funky. And yeah, and then the bump map's not even turned on. So that gives us some bump map stuff. Now it didn't, let's bring this back to 1. Control alternate. All right, now this looks pretty cool. Horizontal. Now cutout opacity, okay. So we take some of these. Glossy roughness. Translucency weight. Translucency color. Okay, we got our, all right, I think we've lost our base color. No, the base color here. We're going to bring this base color up to white. That didn't do anything. Diffuse color to white. Somehow we lost, okay, our color here, but oh, I think well, you just have to kind of mess with these. Glossy reflectivity and glossy roughness. Let's bring that up. Look at this now. We got something happening here. Normal map base bump. Bring those up. And refraction index. Refraction weight. Ooh, look at what we have coming in here now. See, so all of these are hidden down inside of these textures. And the glossy roughness, all right, that brings and see, so this, it just the thing is being able to, like, you might say, well, this is difficult, looks difficult, dragging all these and then adding them in. Just think in your mind how difficult it is to do it in Daz, where you have to go and find the shader, find the folder, look for the files, load each one into each slot, okay? And where this gives you the ability to look at them and say, okay, all of these have these images, and just add them to the different, and drag them in and see what they have. See, so this does bring something that when I'm in Daz and I think, oh, I'd like to make my own shader. I'd like to play around and make some shaders. Now this glossy color, okay, let's take this, and instead of the honeycomb, let's turn these honeycomb ones off, all right? And now the SS color, all right, we'll do that one with this and this. And the bump strength, let's use this one. All right, save it. Okay, reset. All right, and that still has some kind of metallicity on. My reset isn't working. Okay, now we go here, back to here. And back to here. Inject, apply. Okay, I'm not sure why this is coming out dark like that, but it's not really the fault of this. It's because I don't really know a lot of this, how this glossy roughness. Okay, this kind of brought a little bit more light to it. The roughness was taking some of the shine off. Oh, look at this now. What happens is every once in a while you get a texture that absorbs the light, and I've not figured out, I'm not always sure what it is that you do. Look how that just put these bumps into there. Okay, we didn't have them before. Those are pretty cool. What it is that changes the sheen of it. This. Okay. Translucency weight. And glossy roughness. Okay, and we do have our metallicity. That got turned way up again. Oh, here it is. It's this metallicity gets turned way up. Okay. So that looks pretty cool there. We had, for some reason, we have this just dark spot in the middle here. Let's try creating a camera. See if it creates, it's not creating a light. Okay, let's see. Camera. I don't think it would light this either anyway, because yeah, it has this hair texture. Let's try changing our main texture here. So we go to this. So I have all these fun little toys. Daz is now, we are in a, I do have a dialogue going on with Daz now about this, and they're very helpful. We'll see what what comes of it. So they are very helpful in bringing this product about, and other products, new things that will be coming in the future. So, all right, so let's reset this. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, maybe because I have my camera selected. We go to surfaces, make sure the sphere is selected. Then we go back here, reset. And that metallicity is still on. Okay, now we go back here to this, and let's inject this in. All right. Now that metallicity got pulled way up again, and for some reason this isn't at its full color. So it doesn't go full white. We can bring this metallicity down, but what happens? It just goes white. Well, at least it's not black, like, you know, kind of dark like the other one. Okay, we have our bump strength. That gives us some bumps. And there's also the displacement. And that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. We take some of that out and we can see some of the other. Look at that. Now, the diffuse. Where's our diffuse color? We have these top coat, velvet colors. So we have, like, there's a lot of kind of things you can do with this. All right, so yeah, so we don't have diffuse in here. It may be here, but under a different name. Yeah, so a lot of these, like ambient occlusion, I don't know that that's even part of ray. So some of these things I have to look at a little bit, but the basis of it works, okay? It puts the images in for you into these areas here. The translucency color, let's bring this down, like change the color a little bit, all right? I'm not sure why. It's supposed to be putting that, changing that. You can change the base color a little bit, make that, there, that worked. Just take some of that color off a little bit. And now look what we have here. See, this is pretty special, okay? This looks pretty cool. Glossy reflectivity. Okay, this is what takes the shininess out, okay, and makes it look like plaster instead. And this gives it that glossy. That takes the metallic out. You can just leave a little bit in. Look at that. That is pretty cool right there. See, this is amazing, okay? What you can do with this, just taking things and mixing them around and creating your own textures, okay? And then when you put this on the wall in back of in your room or something, it's yours. It's something. Now let's do that. Let's take this texture here, okay? We can file, save as, okay? And we can save it as a shader preset, okay? And this would be Daz Studio. I don't want to put it in there. I want to put it in my stuff. So if something happens to my library, I don't lose my stuff. And so that would be in the C drive. I think it's the user content, my saved items, okay, and that would be here in shader presets, shader preset, okay, and that would be, let's call this glossy wallpaper. All right. Now, what we can do is put, what you can also do is go like this and copy selected surface. All right, so let's put this on a plane. On the plane sphere, let's switch this to plane, okay, accept. And we take this plane. I think I need a little bigger plane. I don't want to start it out and stretch it that much. So we go to more, and let's go to 10 and 10. All right, now we take this plane, parameters, and we're going to go X translate. Oh, that's translate, Z, X rotate, Z. All right, we're on the wrong. Let's look at this from the front. Okay, X rotate. We go 90. All right, Z translate. All right, and then we go X scale, which would be this way. Y scale, which would be this way. Oops, Z, that's Y rotate. Y scale, no, not Y scale. Z scale, yeah, okay. And we go Y translate, we'll bring it down a little bit like that so it covers this, and then we'll, okay, what happened here? Then we'll even our room up a little bit. Okay, then we'll translate the plane up a little bit. Y translate. I am such a, I just like symmetry, okay? So we go now to our sphere, surfaces, sphere, copy, selected surface, go to plane, paste. Look at that. All right, now that's wallpaper. That's what you can use. Now we don't need the sphere anymore. We can use this in our room in some Art Deco kind of thing as your wallpaper. And people look at that and they say, well, I kind of see the artist who made this particular image, the basis of this is going to say, well, I see my image here, but what's all that other stuff, you know? Sphere, Z, plane, the plane. So this is pretty cool. Now what we can do is go like this. Create another plane. Here. And scale that. Parameters. Scale. Z. Okay. I think what we need to do is put a figure in here now, okay? So we go to, now we can start using EZFinder instead of this EZShader and all that. We can close that. So we now go here, and I didn't know I could have two of them open at once. Why not? Two is better than one, I guess, in that case. Not really. So, all right, now what we're going to do is go to favorites. We're going to go to my favorites menu. It's my favorite menu to use as well because it has like everything I need to make a scene really quick, okay? So the first thing we do is Genesis 9 people. Let's put a figure into the scene. All right. Yeah, right. Where are you? Okay, this is an issue with Daz. It shouldn't do that, really. Okay, let's bring this up. Now that we know how big a human is and where the floor is, we can start scaling things the right way. Okay, so let's take our Genesis 9. Now our Genesis 9 figure, while we have it here, let's put some shorts on. Double click. Put some shorts on. Oh, we don't want to put them on the plane. See, we want to put them on our Genesis 9 figure. And let's make the shorts. Can we do that with red? No. They are not hierarchical. All right. There we go. Now let's, well, if I zoom in on the shorts, we may zoom in a little too far here. Like that, maybe. All right, now shapes. Let's go to shapes. And let's pick one, velar. I put them on the shorts. We don't want the shape on the shorts. Velar. Come on. Okay, maybe it doesn't work. Vincent. Why isn't it working? Okay, this one's working. Some of these I made from different iterations of Daz stuff. Okay, so if they don't work, I probably should get rid of them, but at which I can just right click on them and say remove from shapes, but I'll work with that later. That's what's nice about this stuff, is you can just curate as you're going along and add things, throw things out. Okay, so now we're going to go to Genesis 9 skins. My favorite skins here. We will use, okay, I don't have my skin here, so we're going to look for, is it Rupert? Okay, here. Well, it's up there. Okay. Clear this. Yes. I'm not so sure if I'm spelling that right. Probably not. Probably not. So we're going to try R. Okay. Let's just try RUPR. I think it's Rupert, Rupert, or Rupert, RUP. Let's try this. I think it's Rupert. Okay, clear that. Rupert. Here he is. Now we have also his skin, which I can now drag and put into my skins. All right. I don't have to look for him again. Okay, this skin, and this is all mattes. Okay. And this also is a Rupert.duff. And I can put this now, just throw him into my people. I use Rupert a lot. He has kind of like a rosy cheeks skin. So, all right, so now we can go into skins, and Rupert's in here. See how easy that is? Here he is, all maps. Double click. Then I don't have to look for it again. He's right in with my favorite maps, skin maps. So yeah, something that's not that easy to do in Daz. That's what makes it easy to find, easy to set up, easy to curate. All right, so because yes, I had to search for it, but once I found it, there it was. Okay, so all right. Now, this isn't quite working because it looks, right, I'm going to try a different shape. Okay, logos. All right, that's, I think, a little better, okay? And I might go with, just for now, it's not quite working with this skin, so we'll go with Nathan's skin. Can't put that on the plane. All right. It just looks, his lips, it looks a little bit too rosy at this point. Okay, it takes a while for the skin to apply. There it is. Okay, a little bit better. All right, now we go into poses. Very quick here. Debonair. Leave limits on. It's probably going to have the... There we go. Now we take this. All right, now let's go to our shaders. Okay. Metal, building. Okay, for building wood. Okay, that's plastic, pattern. Stone. Granite. I thought for sure I'd have marble in there. stone, rock, stone. All right, let's marble, okay, stone. I have two computers, and each one of them has a different. Okay, we'll go into base shader. Let's go in here, marble. Marble. Here we go. Let's select the floor, the plane, and we go here to surfaces, marble. Okay. Marble. There's 25 pages of marble. It's pretty easy to find. Okay. Let's now go to Duff's, rug, rug. Okay, you guys can't see what I'm doing. All right, we got this here. All right, so we're going to go to Duff's. We just put Duff's in here. Search for rug. All right. Here we go. Okay, rug. Rug. Let's scale this, parameters. What we do is we bring this up, that. And then we bring this back. Scale this down, parameters. Bring it up. All right, scale it. Okay, like this. Bring it up, like that. Okay, couch. Come here, clear this out. Couch. Couch. See, this is searching every file. It's not searching, it's finding every couch you own. That's what it's doing. So, does that work? It does. Well, that looks a little bit kind of gnarly. How about the Mafia smoke room couch? Let's see. We put that back there. Okay. Chair. So then we go here. Yeah, they do. They are like couched in a very good position with couches and chairs. Yeah. Okay, chair. Let's find, I think I want to get some kind of ornate wooden chairs instead. This can come ahead a little bit more like that. And this can come ahead a little more like this. Like that. And then we scale that down. Bring this over a little more like this. Now, let's find some more ornate wooden chairs that seem to fit because they are mostly wood. All right, so we clear this out. And we go with chair. Chair. Now it's searching down here. It's searching through 1 million files. There's 69 pages of chairs. All right. Okay. And see, now these are not curated. A lot of these are poses with chairs. Now if I go to my organizer here, and I go to props, I believe I have chairs here. You see, now when I bring them in, these are not curated either, okay? So, but the thing is that eventually, as I work through these, okay, remove from chair, I don't know what those are, but I'm just going to move them from chair, okay? And now these are poses, okay? Poses, these are all poses. I can slowly, as I work with these items, okay, we can get rid of this. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of this. All right, and now we can kind of work full screen with this. These are all poses, okay? Remove from chair. I don't want the poses in there. I want the poses in my chair pose folder. See, these are all poses. All right, so it allows you to go through this 37 pages now of chairs. These are chair poses. Remove chair. Remove from chair. So the next time I come in here, these poses won't be in here. That's what you do. Now we got these. Okay, these are all poses. All right, remove from chair. Now what I can do also is I can go in here, pose, and search in the results. Okay, now there's 7 pages. Now see, this didn't work too well because those came up and those are actual chairs. So I'm not sure why those came in. So I'm still kind of stuck, so we're going to go back. All right, and that's not working. I'm not sure why. Okay, search. Let's try poses, search. Okay, clear that. Let's go back to chair. Now when I bring this back in, chair, it doesn't have, it's still got poses because I haven't finished these, but all right. Let's keep going, remove these poses from the chair. So you curate it once, and then the next time you need chair, you don't have to deal with it. Now these look like chairs. Okay, so we're starting to get towards the end of this. There's 33 pages of chairs, so eventually we're going to get into the hot spot where it's just chairs. Okay, now these are obviously draped over a chair. I wouldn't put them in here in chair. Now you have to be careful. This program is now look, now we're getting into straight chairs, okay? There's no more poses. There's one more here. And so next time I need a chair, I'm just going to come in and say, look what I have. I have all these chairs. It's better than that it gives you more than what you need than less. And that's the thing, that's what EZFinder is gives you more and lets you curate, okay? Now these look like they would kind of fit in here, but I'm looking for something kind of really like lion claw chairs. These maybe here, see? Look at these now. We got some chairs going on here. Very nice. Very true art. Choice is always nice. And that's the thing, is when you can choose from all of your items. Now I'm distorting in the mic. Here we go. All right, when you have choice, that is good. So we take this and we bring it down so it's sitting on the floor. I don't think it is. Little wheels on this chair. That's nice. Okay, edit. Duplicate. Duplicate. All right. We bring this over here and over here. Okay, I got to go to these parameters. And okay, we need Z. We need this. Okay. Y rotate. Okay, Y rotate. I am not sure why we're getting that. Okay, I know it's wrong. When I duplicated it, I may have duplicated the chair part inside instead of the. Okay, so let's try this again. Edit. Duplicate. All right, now we grab this and we should be able to. No, this is kind of weird. It's inside of a thing. So what I'm going to do is, how do we get this out of here? Oh, it's a bone. This is some kind of weird. And I bet this chair isn't even. So we might have to. Oh, it's I-ray. Okay. All right, so we take the chair, and I can move the chair like this, and I think that doesn't move the whole object, though. I guess it does. So let's, but then when I select this, it doesn't show in parameters. They're like hidden, okay? Scale, chair, okay, so Z. Let's do it the hard way, okay? Let's move it this way. X translate. Okay, Y rotate. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. Bring our chair back in. Y rotate. X translate. Okay, bring it in. and bring it back. Bring it this way. This way. What? Okay, all right. This is way too big here, so let's take this plane and scale it down. And we can bring it up. Okay. Bring this back. Okay. And then now we need some intimate lighting kind of thing. The lighting is just like Daz typical lighting. All right, and he's kind of like stepping through the floor. It's like I am sinking. All right, save this as deco room. All right, and now we need some floor lamps. Let's see what happens when we search for floor lamps. Okay, we have here in our objects here, stove, nightstand, props. Okay, so I don't think I got as far as floor lamps. It might be in environments. No, not here. Okay, so props. So what we do is we create a new folder, floor lamp, floor lamps, okay? That is right up there, floor lamps. Okay, we'll bring this over here. Now we bring this back. There's our DUF files are all selected. Clear the UI, all right? This is still in our chair. I could go through all 36 pages. I bet there's better chairs. Look at these, some rocking chairs. So these are little overstuffed ones. Look at these, the president's chair. That would fit right in, kinda, with our other ones. There's a lot more chairs to go through. So many chairs in so little time. So yeah, look at this Victorian chair. So I probably could have found some better chairs, but these work, okay? You are right, Daz has some beautiful chairs. There's also like throne room chairs and things like that. So there is like the Game of Thrones chair. I think they came out with one that was like that, like a Game of Thrones chair. That would be a little bit over the top for this. So, but maybe if we put it in the center, it would be kind of nice. So, but look at these chairs, people. This is in the Daz library. Go and buy all you can afford. These are cool, 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 cool. And when you put them in the scene, they blow your mind. They're so beautiful. They really, the Daz artists are amazing. They never, ever disappoint. Look at this sofa chair here. Look at these. These, you know, I probably missed the boat on this, but we're going to go with what we've got. Now we're going to go with floor lamp. This is what's nice about, okay, I'm going to have to copy this. It's nice about EZFinder is you just type in words and it won't find floor and lamp. It will find floor lamp. Okay, clear the UI. Search, okay, paste, floor lamp. And we got our floor lamp folder over here that we want to put them in. Here they are. Okay, now I don't have to do, there's 3 pages. I don't have to copy each page. I just take this like that and drop and hold the control key. That's 264 floor lamps. Now when I double click on that, here's my floor lamps. And all right, so these don't look like floor lamps. These are floor lamp textures. We're going to get rid of these from floor lamps. And these, they look like light on and light off. I can turn them on, I think, in the properties. So we'll get rid of those. They're just kind of a distraction. We want floor lamps. That's what we want. We're looking for floor lamps. Okay, this looks like another one of those. All right, so here we go. We go remove that from floor lamps. I can always put them back. I can always search again, find things. Say, am I missing floor lamps? I feel like I am missing something in my floor lamp world. Okay, now floor lamps, we'll get rid of those. Okay, we still have 3 pages. These, I guess they're floor lamps. I don't know what they are, but they look like floor lamps. We got some on-off scripts. These are kind of cool. All right, let's see. This looks like a rustic living room. They actually have shades. Let's see if they are actual lamps. No. Okay, they're objects. Okay, we have to find the actual object. They say they are, but they're not. Okay. So, but somewhere here is that lamp. Rustic living room floor. Okay, so what we can do is bring this over here. And it tells us more about, look at these Victorian light on, off. Okay, look at these Victorian. Well, you ever feel like a floor lamp? Well, look at that. So now we have to bring this up so that it's on the floor. We bring it back. And over. I don't know how that ended up in the air. I thought it was on the floor, and then it's suddenly up in the air. And then I thought I brought it all the way back, and now it's suddenly okay. Okay. Edit. Duplicate. Okay. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind? All right. So here we have our lamps here. Let's move these chairs back a little bit more. I used to render at, it all depends. Matt, that is such a good question, my friend. Have you ever heard of Redbubble? Okay, Redbubble, there's a bunch of other websites. They're t-shirt making, you sell t-shirts there, okay? And so, but you can put your Daz products on all kinds of items, including things like 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 duvettes. You can put your Daz products on all kinds of items. And so if you want to put your 3D render on a king size bedspread, you have to render it at 13K. Okay? And so, and there's a special way to do that, okay? Because Daz won't let you render any higher than, I think, 10K or something. So you go to render settings, you go to general, okay? And where it says here, you go and where is it? Custom. Now I've forgotten. Okay, custom. And you go to, you know, that may not be here because I think I might have to go in and turn that on where it says show, yeah, I might have to actually go in and turn that on here, which is kind of a pain. So, but I think the highest when we go 13, kind of 13,000. You see, it goes to 1. Let's see, 10,000. See, it'll go to 10,000, but you go 13,000, and it stays at 10,000. Well, what you have to do is you have to right-click. You have to click here, and you have to make sure that you add this thing, okay? You have to go in and add a thing which allows you to go into the properties here, and it allows you to make this larger. Yeah, redbubble.com. And it allows you to make this larger, and so that you can turn off the default settings, and it allows you to render higher than 10K, because Redbubble has a rule it's written down. Actually, it's not an unwritten rule; it's an actual written rule, which says that you cannot that you're not supposed to stretch an image larger to fit a product. That the image has to be like rendered at that resolution. So, if your image isn't big enough to fit on a king size bedspread, you can't stretch it to fit. You're not allowed to do that. If you do it, you could have a customer buy a bedspread and say, that looks too grainy, and send it back. I thought there would be nice, crisp detail in this, and it doesn't. It looks terrible. So that is why and so this is how. Okay, now this couch looks like it's sitting maybe down too low. Yeah, it's lost its legs. I lost my legs. All right. So the answer is, I usually, like, for most of the times recently, I have been just making scenes and putting them in the Daz library. In the Daz library, I render at 2,000. Okay, so I don't, the Daz gallery. I don't put anything larger in the Daz gallery than 2,000. So that's about where I render at. But you always just save your projects so you can always come back in and render them larger if you want. Now what we need is control over our scene, okay? And the only way to control this scene is to put a roof, a ceiling, and some other walls here, okay? So what I'm going to do is duplicate this wall, plane, edit, duplicate, node, okay, and we're going to pull this wall. We're going to rotate this wall, okay, pull it out a little bit like this, okay, and then we will rotate it, okay, go to our parameters, rotate Y, no, that's the wrong way, Z, rotate, I thought I had Y, okay. All right, it's because it got moved. All right, Z, try this one. Okay, this isn't working, Z. Okay, rotate X. Okay, that will give us a roof. Okay, so go, rotate that 90 minus 90. Do you ever feel all right, now what we're going to do, we'll put some wood. Okay, let's go to our wood shaders. We close this and open this. Shaders, okay, building, wood. And I don't know where my marble shaders went, but I didn't drag and drop them in. So wood shaders, okay? Let's take this top plane and put a wood shader on it. Let's find a 4K one. Do you ever feel? All right, oops, that is the right plane, but we don't have the surface here selected. Okay. All right, now we have a wooden ceiling. It seems a little bit high, kind of low. But what's important, okay, now we're going to take our camera. Now I'm going to go here to favorites. Favorites, scripts. And I'm going to lock my camera. Where is my camera? Here it is. And we're going to lock the camera. All right, now I don't have to worry about messing that up. Okay, so we're going to bring this in now. We have a ceiling. We have to make sure that the ceiling is actually covering the whole. I probably should have used, and see it's not. And now is the wood grain on the bottom as well? Let's see. I can't see it. Yeah, it is. So what we're going to do is take this and scale it like this. Do you ever feel? All right. Let's just pull this up. We don't really need this showing. We don't want it to look so low that the ceilings. All right, now we're going to take this, edit, duplicate. We're going to pull this over here like that, but we're going to pull it out behind our camera. All right. And we're going to take our marble floor here and make this a little bigger, scale that. All right. The reason why I'm doing this is to take control of the light. So we need to control the light. All right. We're going to scale this. All right, and we don't want even cracks. And I can do this two ways. All right, I can either I can either do this, or I can go into environment and I can take and put a backdrop, a black backdrop, okay? But what happens with that is the light doesn't, see how it's bouncing off the ceiling and it's creating this effect. Well, you don't get that effect if you do that. All right, you don't get that's what ambience means. Ambient light is the reflected light off of your scene, okay? And so you don't get ambient light if you don't create like a room that has its atmosphere. So we're going to take this now, edit, duplicate. Now we take this and we're going to just drag this like that. And that needs to go 90. Where is that now? Y rotate, Z rotate, 90, 90. Okay, X rotate. Would that be 0? Yeah. All right, and now we got to take this like this and go like this. Z, I didn't want to do that. I can't see what these are. Okay, this one. Bring that like that. Is it long enough? No, I don't think it is. So we're going to scale this. Now it is. All right, and then we're going to bring this over here. And then we're going to go edit, duplicate. We're going to bring this one over here. Now when we go into our camera, back to our camera view, we have an atmosphere. Okay. And so what we might want to do is take these, is maybe create all right, let's just put a spotlight on him. All right. Spotlight. And this is where you get your drama. Okay, the spotlight gives you drama. And so and that's why you do this, because if you don't have this diffused light, if you don't have this, then your drama, then if you don't take control of the light in your scene, okay? And that's why closing that off from the Daz world. Now you can still now go into the scene, into your environment, just to make sure and go and put a backdrop in and make the backdrop black, okay? Just so that you know there's no light coming in from your scene. And you can also go into your render settings. No, what is it? No, environment. Here, parameters. And you could dome and scene, and you go scene only, okay? Then you know for sure that there's no light coming in from outside. Okay, so and now we take and go look through our camera. Not through our camera, through our spotlight. Bring it up. Okay, now what we do is zoom out a little bit here. And now what I do is I take my camera and I select my figure, then I go like this, and that focuses the light on the figure so that when you use this, it rotates, orbits around your figure. If you don't click this little square here when you select your light and so you select it so that it orbits, you see it's orbiting around him, okay? And so that's what this little box does, is it sets him to be the orbit of your light, okay? So then we're going to bring this up. You don't want to put your light. Now a couple of tricks again. I've told these before, but I'll say them again, okay? Because you're all here and you may have missed them or forgotten. But you want to kind of, my tendency is to take a light and bring it from above and go. That's what my brain says to do. But if you do that, you're not going to see all the beautiful artwork in the eyes because you'll get these raccoon eyes, okay? So you want to come from the, I guess that's called Rembrandt lighting, is when you light from one side, okay? So you want to get that Rembrandt look so that one side is in kind of shadow and the other side is in light. But you don't want to bring it so high that you don't get to see the color in their eyes, okay? So now go back to camera, and now we can turn on this light, give it some illumes, let's see, 3, all right? And then we can soften the light a little bit, make it warm. All right, there you go. There's some drama. And all right, let's bring this chair. Okay, for some reason, this chair looks warm. That chair looks cold. I'm not sure why. Oh, it's because it's catching the light from the side. Let's give him some hair. So we're going to go into our hair. And ready to use wearable hair. Wearable hair. Let's give him the mature hair. Okay, we got to select Genesis 9. All right. And let's give him some mustache. Let's see, mustache. Here, Gordon mustache. Genesis 8. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind? All right, there we go. And now we take the hair, we got to make the hair a little darker. So we go here to back to the wearable hair, because I have to find out what kind that was again. That's called mature hair. So what we do is we go here now, we find the product, okay, which would be in the DSX. Double click. Mature hair. And there it is. You wait a moment, let it think. It's thinking. Then you load all these. And here's all your colors and stuff. Mature hair, beard. We didn't use the mature beard. We used, okay, so let's try, all right, mature hair color. Oh, we got to select the hair. Okay, there it is. And now we got body hair. Let's see, we go back to beard, all arm hair, beard. All right, we're going to go back to my favorites. I think I've got that in my favorites, so we'll go to favorites. Here, favorites. And let's see, body hair. Okay, I can't put that on the mature hair. That was a mistake. All right, so we're going to have like body hair all over that. You got to wait. It looks like it's going on him, but it isn't. Now you can see. All right, just a minute. Now we're going to take this off and put it in the right place. All right, select Genesis 9. Okay. Notice the light, how it actually catches his eye. You see, if I'd brought that light up just even a little bit higher, you wouldn't even see the color there, okay, in his eye. All right, so this is why you do this. This is why you know, because that idea of light coming down, it's very attractive. Sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you want that raccoon look. Like if you want something to look very solemn and silhouetted sort of kind of look, then you go with that look. But most of the time somebody worked hours to make that eye texture, okay? Let it shine. Let that texture show, and so that okay, now I'm thinking about some art on the wall. Okay, so a giant piece of artwork. Okay, so let's see, painting. All right, so but we have to get out of DSX. Oops, now I'm like clicking everything here. And painting. All right, that's not working. All right, let's come back here. Painting. Let's see what comes up with painting. Now it's searching this instead of this, okay? So we got face painting. Oh, let's see. There were some there. Painting. Worm. Okay. Here, let's see what this is. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? All right, now our camera is locked, remember? So what we can do is go out of iRay, then hit Control L. Then we can see this painting here, okay? What's this painting? What is it? It's a tiny little painting. But look, it's pretty cool actually for a little painting. But if I make that very large, it's probably not gonna hold up. Let's see how much is buried under the ground. No, I just don't think it's big enough, okay? We need something big. Big. Let's see about this one. All right. Painting. What is this? What have we got here? Okay, we got to turn this around. All right, it's there. It just took a while to. Oh, it's more in the back. Okay. Would this work? How big is this? Okay, see, this is painting size. This is room size. And you know what? We could put anything on this. And that's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to put our own artwork on it, but what we'll do is we're going to right-click, we're going to rotate 90. All right, And then we're going to take and put it on the wall and see what it looks like first. Okay, so let's go to this. Put this back here like that. And now let's go here. Let's go to our, oh, we're on the wrong wall. I rotated it the wrong way. Okay, let's go back to, where was that? 0. Okay, we got to do this 180 thing. There it is. Then we can go back. Which way is that? I can't tell. This is back. All right. Now we bring this up. Yes, it's an impressionistic picture of water. All right, we got to turn a little bit, and we got to make sure it's up against the wall, okay? We don't want it like floating off the wall. You'll see this on a very large render, like a Redbubble render. It's like, oh, it's floating off the wall. I can't believe I did that. Okay, now we go back to our camera view and see what it looks like. All right, not too bad, not too shabby. Now let's see what it looks like in our render. There you go. Yeah, I would now maybe a couple of little pictures here would be kind of nice, or maybe a wall clock, and I don't know, maybe a grandfather clock would be kind of nice here, and a Chefero, you know, or something. I don't like the way this is catching the light. But I can take, what I can do is take this chair and take some of the shine off of it. Just make it rougher. That kind of worked. Now where's the other one? There was another one. It was the glossy reflectivity, is it? Okay, that kind of worked also, but okay, diffuse rough. Okay, we can just take this glossy color and make it darker. See how that works? And I can even go further with that. This is like defying NVIDIA, where NVIDIA, everything about NVIDIA is all about physics-based rendering. And you can basically just say, nope, you don't get to reflect. We go with this roughness again. All right. I don't know if which one. Okay, that worked. It took that kind of ugly shine off of there. And it makes it warmer with that kind of shine there. It made it look kind of cold. And so let's save this. I don't think I have to put my own picture there. I think having something kind of, but this we could make it bigger. But I think that's actually a good size. If I put like, I was thinking of putting like a mountain there in the picture, or, but then it distracts. So this is actually pretty good. So I think the grandfather clock would be nice, and the Chefero over here. So let's see, clock. Now I know I have clocks. I don't know if I, in my props, let's see. Props, 1, okay. Clock, okay, VDB, floor lamps is now in there, that's good. Clock. See, they're all on my other computer. I've got 2 computers that I'm trying to build stuff on, and it's like, oh, I curated them on my other computer. You guys won't have that problem, but I have to have 2 of these, 2 computers. Look at this dresser. We do have dressers now. That's something like tall and like ornate. Floating in the wind. Okay, that's the mat for that. Here it is. There's the actual dresser, I think. Come on, anytime you're feeling lonely. All right, come on. Read the asset. This is an OBJ. Oh, it says OBJ, but is this an OBJ file? Really? Okay, if it works, it works, you know. Don't knock it if it works. Okay, come out here. I just love things with like lots of drawers. Walls with covered in drawers. Yeah, I am a drawer person. I love things with drawers. Okay, clocks. Okay, so we're going to go now to our DUF files here. Clock. Please enter a number. Okay, I keep doing that. All right, this. Okay, we're going to clear this, and that clears that, so I have to type clock again. But that is okay. Now it's searching through our DUF files for a clock. We could put maybe a mirror over this, but I'm not sure. Clock, wall clock. That would work. Kind of small, but we can make it bigger, I think. We can rebuild it. That's kind of boring. Well, I mean, not really. It's kind of, maybe it's perfect, and maybe if I give it a chance, but no. Let's see. Which actually is the kind of clock that I like. I'm not big on Roman numerals. Because they, I just have to think when I look at it, and I don't like to have to think that one moment. It's like, oh yeah, because you know I'm pretty good with Roman numerals, but I just don't really want to think when I look at something. I don't want representations of numbers or whatever. I want something that I can actually understand. Okay, let's get back to the grandfather clock. Bring this over a little bit more like that. Now, normally I don't like things like this. You see this chair, and that creates a noise, and that's why having something hanging on the wall would be better than having that noise, but this has the same kind of noise going on here as well, so I think it's okay. Take this dresser and pull it over a little bit more. This would be perfect to put something on the dresser. And I was thinking about a kitty cat in the room, but we'll see. It's maybe sitting on this chair. All right, so save this. Let's see what it looks like. And, all right, we go here to render settings. Let's go at 2000. 2000 also, Matt, is really good for, in render settings, is really good for, because it's smaller than 4K, so when you render it, you can kind of look and see. So 2000 is like while I'm working render, okay? I always have it set at 2, and I always do the 16:9, because I usually figure I want an image that's gonna like fit a whole screen. See how this is small enough to kind of see inside of my 4K monitor? You see, so it's not like so large that it's sticking out around my monitor. See, so this, that is why I kind of use the 4K thing. That's why I use 2000, because it's enough for me to kind of see it. And it's also enough that if you blow it, if you stretch it out and fit the 4K monitor, it doesn't look terrible. So 2000 is really kind of, and it's also small enough where you're not giving them a 4K image where they can go and take your image and sell it on Redbubble or something. It's still small enough that it's not really incredibly marketable. So now what we can do is this back wall. You see these little cracks and things that are in the wall? Now, since it's a shader and I have all of that depth into it, we could kind of mess with this and make it look, but I think it looks kind of good the way it is. Like, especially in here, it looks kind of like it's got, like it's a plaster wall with some sort of painting imprinted over it. It looks handmade wall. So something about him doesn't look alive, and I'm not sure what it is. It looks kind of stick figure-ish, something. So I think what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to close his eyes, his eyes just to see how he's kind of staring ahead like that. That look, stare ahead, that is the worst figure killer in the world. So if we go to here and we take this and we just go to parameters and select this and go, almost always you have to take your figure's eyes and add a little bit of blink. No, is it blink? I forget. Yeah, blink, eye blink. And you just want to give him a little bit of blink, like about there. All right, now when we go and look at our render, it might look a little bit more like he's relaxed, okay, rather than that deer in the headlights kind of look, which I do very well. No, just kidding. Now you see that just... So what we could do with him is make him put like, we could put a suit on him, okay? Dress him in a suit. Let's see what we have for suit. Let's see just what this comes up with. Now we go into wardrobe, upper full sets, outfit full. Let's see what comes up in here. There's 500 of them. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? What if we give him something like this? Trench coat. And this is for Genesis 8. Floating in the wind. Okay, this is the GV full shoulder. Okay, this is want some more X. All right, that kind of works, but we got to take and now find something to go underneath it. Shoulder. All right. Let's go back here. We got full sets. We'll go lower. Pants. $102 pages of pants. For Genesis 2, let's move ahead to page 50. All right, into some of the Genesis 9 stuff. Peasant pants, I don't think they would work. All right, Iray pants. All right, maybe these rogue elf pants. Well, for Genesis 8, let's try again. Okay, I think it's thinking. Yeah, it's thinking. Dust cover. Okay, that's the... There we go. All right, now it's putting it on the dust cover. That's not what I wanted, and now if I cancel it, it's going to put them there anyway. All right, so let's try this again. All right, Genesis 9, Rogue Elf Pants. There we go. For Genesis 8, male. Floating in the wind. Oh, these I think the cummerbund is a little bit much. And what do we have? We have those red pants showing through. I think I might be able to hide that. Let's see. That front little area. let's see, that would be elf pants. Now first let's take and hide the base shorts. Okay, and then we take that dust elf pants, surfaces here. Main pants, belt strap. Which one of these is that front piece? That's the strap. Rings, belt strap, belt laces, man pants. Those are just, take that and the whole pants go away. All right, so they're not going to let us belt laces, take parts off. So let's see what we have for other pants. Sci-fi assassin. Let's try these for Genesis 8. Select that. Genesis 8, male, except leather, any kind of leather pants would probably kind of work. Now we take the elf pants. All right, those work. And then let's find out if they really do. Yes, they do. They work. We just have a couple of places to mess with here. Let's take and fix that now. We go to Tool Settings, Geometry Sculptor, here. Okay. All right, there's that. And then we have to find shirt, boots. Okay, so we have lower, we have top, we have upper. That top is hat. Okay, shirt, dress shirt. I have some dress shirts. Only a few. OBJ. Okay, these say that they're dress shirts, but I don't think they'll go on here. These are for Genesis 8. All right, let's try this. Those are materials. White tie dress shirt. Let's see what this looks like, and then we can try different colors. Genesis 9. This is for Genesis 8. Okay. Now what we have to do is take this, let's take the dress shirt and make it black. Kind of hides it a little better. And then we find some boots. Okay, these would be upper boots, shoes, boots. OBJ, Army Greens for Genesis 9. All right. There we go. Very regal. It almost works just the way it is right now. Camera, let's see. 0. Look at that. It does kind of almost work the way it is, but his arm's going through his coat. All right, we go to perspective view. We come in through here. We go back into this. Now is where the work comes in. So we take and go back to here. Parameters. First thing we have to do is take his arm out of his side. Twist. Okay, there's one. All right, then we have to push this shirt in. Okay, so we go to his shirt. Now, okay, what I'm going to do, instead of pushing all this in, I'm going to go to the arms of his shirt. Okay, we have the shirt here. Where is it? Shirt, dress shirt. This is what's cool, is that this has like parts like a human body. Spine. Pec, neck, right shoulder. Okay. Right upper arm. Okay. Boom. That's gone. We go here. Left upper arm. Okay, we can go, okay, we just hold the control key and that turns that right off. Right upper arm, hold the control key. That just saved us a long time, a lot of work. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this arm way out. Like that. First, and then, okay, we got to take this part here. Okay, over trench coat, tool settings here, geometry sculptor, and we're already ready for that, but we need this bigger radius, so we can't let it be big enough to affect the arms. See where it's affecting there? It's got to be smaller. Well, I guess that's really small. Okay, here we go. Push this in. This in. What's happening here? All right, now we got a little bit of room. To pull his arm in. Okay, now we take this back here. Parameters, twist. Oops, come on, stop twisting on me. All right, I think that kind of works. Now we got to work with his shirt here. Dress shirt. Okay, we go back to the tools. Okay, I don't think his pants are out enough. Or what's this here going on here? What's up with his belt? Okay. All right. Whatever that belt thing is, there's some kind of belt. All right, tap his pants, this right here. Doesn't seem, it seems out of place. It seems like it should be down here. And that happens a lot with, items. This looks like it belongs down in here. And okay, so parameters, okay, go to parameters. I don't think I can move it. Why translate? But if I go here, oh, buckle, belt buckle, why translate? There it is. All right, let's go and see if this is actually in the right place. There. Back to our camera. Now, I hate to do all this, but I have a feeling this trench coat is dForce. So what we're going to do is like this, perspective, turn him a little bit like that to make him so he's not naked. And then we're going to turn off his, maybe the dust cover. I don't know that we need those dForce. And the pants, the belt buckle and all that, and the dress shirt. And then let's see what happens if we, the boots, we don't need to worry about the boots. They're not contacting this. Let's see what happens if we run a quick simulation. Is this, with those turned off, is there any dForce? Now we're going to go into the environment because he's kind of okay where he is. And simulation, turn this off, simulate. I probably should have saved it before I did this. But yeah, let's see what's going on with the coat. Yes, the coat is dForce. So we can get it to kind of hang on him a little better. Maybe. I think it's going to blow up. Whenever it sits like this, it's right before an explosion. Yep, it's going to blow up. Probably what I need to do is turn the arm sleeve off of the simulation. It's going to blow up. Well, you might as well just blow up, because I know you're gonna. That's very cool. I probably did play Lemmings. I'm going to try to cancel this and see if I can cancel out of this. And the fact that I have my render open doesn't help. Wait for the program to respond. I think it will allow me to cancel. dForce has been pretty good about allowing cancels. Lately, it has been. Angus, welcome, friend. Welcome, welcome. Very nice to have you here. I have to while there's a reason why I turned it off. So, yeah. All right, I need you to close the simulation. I know you're not responding. I need you to close the simulation. So, okay, this is not working. And remember I told you I should have saved it before I did this? Because I think it was a while before I saved it. I maybe didn't even have him dressed. So, so it's like, wait for this to either come up or, wait for the program to respond. But come on, Daz, close this. Close this. So I'm wondering if it's worth. This is where I probably should like that program that auto saves for you. I'm just, there's so many times I do things and say, oh, I don't like that, and it's like, oh, it just saved over. But I think what it does is it saves different versions, so it doesn't save over top, but it gives you a running trail of saves, and that's not a bad thing. So all right, so I guess I'm gonna have to close this whole thing down, the whole kit and caboodle, see where what we're left with, because Daz is not going to come out of this stabilization simulation thing. So close this down. Yeah, close the program. Kind of bothers me, but that's the way it works. So I probably didn't even save it when I started putting the clothes on him, so I might have to well, I'll find out when I saved it last. Open recent deco room. Yeah, that and that's part of the Daz Premiere package, is being able to turn on that. I actually even have it like turned off. I mean, like hidden from my thing. So I probably should turn it on. Just like the idea of having multiple saves And Daz takes a while to save sometimes, and sometimes I work on projects that take a long time each time for it to save. And so that's why it just doesn't appeal to me incredibly much. But maybe I should keep it turned on for cases like this. Let's see. He's probably back in his underwear again. I mean, in his swim trunks or whatever. We'll find out. See how long it takes to load. Here we go. We got the grandfather clock. Yep, he's back in his underwear again. So maybe we'll find a different suit. I kind of liked the way he looked, but I just didn't save it. Well, we got the boots here. So let's look up suit, and we got to take and clear the UI. Suit. All right. Come on. Suit. All right. What do we got here? We got 140 suits. Okay, so let me think. I'm thinking now about this DSX. Let's go in here. Let's look for products here, and we're going to go and clear this. And then we'll go and load DSX in. And I think we can go here like this. Shaders. Why that only has shaders when it's... Okay, so DSX, let's go to... close. Clear the UI again. Close. Let's see what we can find here. There's a few here. Wardrobe. Clear the UI again. Wardrobe. We got ward. Let's just load this in and go through it. See, I haven't really okay, let's close this down for a moment here. All right, let's try this again. TSX. All right, now we got clothes here. We got products. Look at this. Bring this back. Where did you go? Let's see. Okay, load all. This is probably real. This is CR2. Gosh. This is from Michael 4. Back. No, no, no. It was probably nice in the day. Okay, what's this? Genesis 9. All right, let's try this. See if we can get a full suit. Set. All right, what we're going to do. Let's try this. I don't think this was before I put the blink on him either. Let's see. All right, let's take the shorts and hide them for now. And now let's go into iRay and see what this looks like. That works. Let's render this. Okay. Why is this so large? We lost our render settings. To cancel this, no. Yes, cancel. Look at the texture of that wall. That's what happens when you make your own shaders. All right, are you going to cancel? All right, thank you. Look at this is pinstripe suit too. This is really nice. Now we're going to have to go into render settings, and that's still at 10,000. Okay, 2,000. All right, save this again now. And it does look like we still have his blink. His eyes look like a little bit relaxed. But let's look. Parameters, blink. Nope, they're not blinked. We're just going to give a little bit of blink. Okay, to make him look relaxed. And save this. Now let's try a render. Let's go into render settings. And go to progressive renders, maximum samples, maximum time. This. So I think this looks pretty good. Yeah. I think it's working. Yeah, okay. So he needs some color in his face, okay? His skin looks a little bit blah, and if you just add a little bit of color there on his cheeks, it will take that look away. And you know, it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more light on his other side of his face. So we go to the spotlight and we just turn this a little bit like this. So he's not completely. All right, where's our spotlight? Okay, let's try that. And go back to our camera. Yeah, he doesn't have to be completely. And then we go to, all right, it would be blush. And let's go back here to this. Search. All right, we have to clear this again. Blush. There it is. All right, for Genesis 9, which one's this? 8 and 8.1. So we use this one. Genesis 9, load all that. Okay, and then we take and go here with and I'm going to go into favorites. Go to the organizer, favorites, new folder, blush, blush. Change the color. If you do this once, you don't have to keep looking for it each time. All right, now we have this here, blush. Let's just take all of this right here. There's 2 pages, so we got to hold the shift key. Drop that in. All right, now we have blush. All right, so this would be, we have to add the effect. Which one of these is, one of them is okay, that one apply lines. This is the one we want. All right, so we apply this to him. Okay, then we select the blush here, effect. Let's try this one here. Did that work? I don't think it did. Okay, these are the lines ones. Okay, so all right, what we're going to do is try this one. That worked. Okay, now that gives him a little bit of color on his face and around his cheeks and nose. Just makes it stand out a little bit more. Now we go here and I can go in and tone it down if I have to. Looks like it's going to be too much. It is, I think it is a bit too much. So we go here. Now his hands like going through something. It's like going through his fingers are going through his clothing. Perspective here. Nine. Okay, we take this and parameters. Get rid of blink. Twist. That works. I don't know what I'm twisting, but it worked. Now we want to twist this. Okay, that's good. What's going on with his finger here? As long as it's not going through his clothes, he's okay. All right, now we're going to go here. Let's take this blush and fix it. What's going on with his eyes? Let's take a look at his eyes. That was his tongue. All right, are his eyes actually correct? And it looks like they are. You have to look through the sides and make sure that his eyes are fitting his face properly. And now back to eye-ray. His tie. How is all this working? Okay, this is where the blush is just too much. So we go to this blush. There's a couple ways to do this. Surfaces. One of them is to take this color, just bring it down like that. And another one is this emission, okay? Luminance, okay? It's actually putting off light, okay? And so you bring this down to like 300. So it's not as much of a light, okay? And I think I want it a little more red than yellow. And I think that kind of works. Now let's go back to our camera. There we go. Save this. Just a little bit of color in his face like that just kind of fixes some of the and the thing is I think the Daz artists do that on purpose. They leave the blush out of the skin because you're supposed to put that in yourself. So that you can fine-tune it like I just did, adjust it yourself. Okay, we're going to take some of this even out more. Okay, the emission temperature, we bring it up, and it brings it more into the blue and out of the red. Okay, I'm going to bring this down to 200. There it is. And we have the cutout opacity, which can just make it like transparent, but I think I need a little bit more of it now. So we go back to 300. Bring this back up a tiny bit. Kind of a peachy color. All right, just to give enough color there. Save this again. Oh, I think we got it. I think we got it. So I think this works. All right, now maybe I think if we have him look at us instead of down, it might provide a little bit more. So I mean, that's kind of what we're doing, is we're taking inanimate things like dead people and trying to make them look alive. We're taking something that's dead, you know, that isn't alive, you know, and trying to make it look alive just for a moment, that one moment of realism. It's kind of funny. I know it's morbid, and I thought about, should I talk about that? It's like, yeah, why not? Art talked about lemmings. So, yeah, the whole... Now, see, with that eye connection, there's something sentient here. All right, it's just a little more sentient than looking down like, like, kind of look. All right, let's save this and see if it, the hurting's on me, yeah. All right, there we go. His lips are too glossy. All right, so we're going to go with that. We're going to take and tone them down a little bit. I'm not sure how to do that, because maybe it's his skin overall. Now it doesn't seem so bad. I'm wondering if the light is just too bright on him, or if I have the intensity too much. by just turning it down a little bit. Sometimes you bring your camera in and you try, you move your perspective view a little bit, and suddenly you just grab an angle that you didn't really plan on doing, and it's like, oh wow, there's my image. All right, let me see. Yeah, see from back here, his lips look too shiny. All right, so let's go back here. That's the thing about Genesis 9, is they don't have separate lips things. Surfaces, legs, arms, torso, no hair, mouth. There's no lips. The only way to change his lips is to put lips over them. So, but his skin does look a little glossy. So I think I could take like some of his skin down. If I click skin here and just take roughness. I think that did it. Back to the camera. There we go. That did it. Save it again. That got rid of that lip gloss look. Yeah. I wonder if his face, if I should have used, I just clicked one of my shapes, and if I just picked a different one, and like he is a combination of a bunch of my figures. It's like about 10 of them. He's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of a Rodrigo, maybe a little bit of Nathan, a little bit of Bruce, He's just got a little bit of all of 10 or so of my figures. So he's extremely unique, but he's also, he's, got a face of his own. He's just, he is, now that really, the way he's looking into the camera now, and it's almost like his eyes are like darting a little bit from the side. When you look at it, his eyes kind of do this movement thing. So, and the way the light is coming down and showing just that eye is kind of interesting as well. So, you can see the color in his eyes. This is pretty good. I think it works. So I think that's our render right there, people. Now, once this is done, I can bring this into Photoshop, and I have done videos on a program called Filter Forge, and it is something very I think it's still worth purchasing. In fact, I just got an email from them today, Filter Forge. And you can buy a version of this in the Daz store, Filter Forge. It's for Photoshop. It gives you like, let's see, photo effects. It says 6,775. I don't think you get that many photo effects. I don't think that that's correct, but maybe Filter Forge 15. So I think that's what I have. It might be 14, but I think I've got Filter Forge 15. I think it's only about 1,000 photo effects. But like what you can see here, you can do so much with Filter Forge. It is very incredible. So I really love Filter Forge. And textures, these textures. And these textures here, you can use these textures to create shaders. You just load the image in and then put it in your shader. And that just makes me think about something, because we should be able to load, just right click in Filter Forge in our thing, in our in this EZShader. You should be able to just right click and load image. And that's not here, right? You know, that's just load an image. And then create. Wouldn't that be cool to just be able to right click, load an image, and then and then inject to Daz, and it just, all of the images that you can find, all kinds of images, and just paste them together and make your own. So this, I'm probably going to have that tonight, is I'm going to put a load image. The thing about loading images is that you want to have images that are, that don't have a seam. And I think that is what this whole Filter Forge is about, is giving you seamless images. So I think that they may actually be a part of this, because this definitely looks like your seamless kind of image, where if you put this looks like it would join with the top and bottom and create a seamless, so you could use this for chainmail kind of thing. So, and if not, then what you just do is you look up online seamless image generators, and you can create it, and they'll give you an image that's seamless, and then you can just load it right up in here and use this part of, I tend to think that this part of it should have been a separate product. But the reason why I included this in EZFinder to create your own shaders is because, well, it just so happens we got a bunch of shaders here. All right? Denim, okay? We have all of these shaders that are part of, that you can just drag and drop into those and use these anyway. Silk shaders. These silk, because the silk are really cool because they have like so many different images that you can use to create different shaders. So, and this entire scene was built on EZShader, okay? Because of this particular set image here, okay, on the wall. So the wall texture was created by just blending or meshing a bunch of images together. Oh, and I was just showing you this. Okay, this is the easy, we've got tartans here, and this is 2 pages of tartans. I know I have more than that, but there's still quite a few here to kind of play around with if you're looking for the tartan look to add into, to create a shader with. But I think taking this and creating that wall there and the room and the lighting and all of this actually was pretty cool. It just seemed to, as soon as I saw that, I thought wallpaper, So that is how this works. So this looks really pretty good now. Yeah, it does. So it'd be kind of nice to have maybe a little gold watch or something, a chain here, and just to do, maybe some little finishing touch. I thought a mirror over that, okay? So, but there's even flowers would be kind of nice on there, on the desk, on the chefferot. So this is working. So I'd say this is done. So this is our image, people. So this is going to do it for me. I haven't eaten today. It's 8 o'clock, and I am going to go and add image loading. Right click, load image. Why not? So yeah, so you can just load your own images in here. That would be very cool. So, I'm thinking about you guys, all right? I'm thinking about, and girls, I'm thinking about, this program and making it ready for you to use. And so that it, so that you have all kinds of, like, oh, I didn't know it can do that, and I didn't know it could do this. Yes, good night, Matt. It's going to be very soon. We are going to actually, it's polka time again. So here we go. And that means thank you very much, people, for watching and coming in and checking out the scene. Watching our techniques and how we do things. And it won't be long, and you will have curation of your products soon. So they will be available. So through the Daz store, and hopefully through the Daz store. I can't say for sure, but it seems as though it's working that way for now. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Angus, Art, Matt, and I guess, and we had Leo here. Leo. Very nice. Thank you, people, for watching and coming in and being part of the evening and of this wonderful day. You take care. I will see you again in the next EZ3DTV tutorial. Please leave comments down in the comments section. If you click on the bell for notifications, it'll be a drop down. And if you click all, you will get all notifications and you will know when I am here. Now, you know what would be really good with this scene would be a little bit of depth, of field. Okay, I can't even think right now. Depth of field or whatever, where the camera blurs the background a tiny bit and he stands out more. That would be really nice. So, goodbye. I'll see you again soon. Art, you take care. Matt, Angus, have a lovely, lovely night. Thanks for the hearts. See you soon. This is the end of our stream for today. I will be back soon again with more EZ3DTV. All right. Bye-bye. Polka polka time. All right. See you soon.